outside of the bow allows you to use the whole length of the bow, which gives you more rotations, which means it rotates faster, generates friction, yada yada yada. The spindle goes onto a hearth board. In this case, both spindle and hearth board are hazel. I've pre-burnt this spindle into the hearth board, and I've cut a groove that's approximately 1/8 of the circumference of the circle out. When the spindle is turning, it's effectively grinding away against these two edges. They shave away the front of the spindle, and the spindle grinds away the hearth board. The dust that produces collects in the groove. Continued wearing away superheats the dust to about 850 degrees. It then spontaneously combusts, and if there's enough in there, it then forms a self-sustaining ember, which you can then transfer ideally onto a King Alfred's cake that you've prepared by shaving the front face off, exposing the inner core. They just burn a bit better once you do that.
So good wood species for the hearth board. The drill, if you can find dry dead hazel, is brilliant because you can see hardly have to do anything to that.
Yeah.
Carved a sharp point and a blunt point on it. That the bottom end was a point. When Guy first started burning it into the hearth board, it was a point, but it was a very sort of blunt point, so it'll bite its way in. And then
quite obtuse that end.
Yeah.
Acute that end.
When you're rotating the spindle at speed into the hearth board, it kind of burns its way in. The two surfaces, heat up and consume each other, and you end up with then a dished surface and a rounded surface on the spindle. So hazel's really good for the spindle because you don't have to really shave it down to make a round shape. It's already that shape. The hearth board wants to be a soft hardwood. So you're thinking of things like, when I say hardwood, I'm talking about broadleaf trees, things like sycamore, alder, hazel we've got there.
Yep.
Lime is very good, and poplar.
Lime is lovely wood to use.
And also
tried it with
wood
lime.
ivy. If you can find wood ivy thick enough, then that's pretty good too.
The fourth bit is a thing called a bearing block, and that's just used to put downward pressure onto the spindle and basically keep it in place. And the final piece is an ember pan, which is a piece of flat wood, a dry leaf, anything really, so long as it's dry. You don't want to form your ember straight on the ground because you just lose all the heat straight into the earth. So, if you're right-handed, left foot on the hearth, on the instep, not your toe, you can get better control that way. And also put your knee directly above the surface that you're going to be spinning. Your left hand comes round your knee, spindle in the hole, spindle there, and the distance between my wrist and my shin is minimised. What you don't want is to have your spindle out here moving around all over the place. If it's here, you're clamped in place, you're not going anywhere, and you can apply pressure that you need in the direction you need.
Ooh, it's getting ready.
Holy
So you
cow.
want to get in a good rhythm. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And you're just looking to get maximum rotations. Every time your arm moves backwards and forwards, you want to use the full length of the bow.
Yeah.
So you're getting full spin on that spindle. And you can see it's quite quick.
Yeah.
You know, if everything's nice and dry and you've prepared it properly, it can be pretty quick. So just in that, whatever that was, 30 seconds or something, created that black dust from the two wooden surfaces consuming each other because they've been rubbing together at speed. And if the powder that you've created is brown, you either haven't been bowing fast enough or you haven't been putting enough downward pressure on. It only needs to be a little bit of downward pressure, so you'd have to be fairly pathetic to not get enough downward pressure, so it's probably just not bowing hard enough.
Yeah.
So brown powder, you need to increase the speed or increase the downward pressure. Black powder, then you're onto a winner.
It's carbonising properly.
If you've got black powder but it's not smoking, you were probably only 10 seconds away from making it work. Sometimes what we say to people is start off slowly and build up the speed, pace yourselves and save yourself for a sprint finish. 30 really fast strokes once you've created black powder and smoke normally is enough to tip it over the edge and just get it.
Directly after lunch is the best time to do it. So once you've got your pile of dust, there we go. Give it a bit of air, waft it around.
Treat it carefully. There's no panic at this point. If you panic and
Don't blow
fling
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's superheated dust. Yeah. I always see people always blow it on courses, don't they?
Blow it.
Go on.
Or drip some sweat onto it.
Yeah. It's raining.
Cry
Looking
into
down with a hat. It's normally right in the right place. Bloop.
it. Vomit on
Raindrops.
it in this case.
So then transfer that onto your King Alfred's cake.
King Alfred's cake.
King Alfred's cakes are fab, so when you see them you should definitely pick them off, put them in your pocket, save them for literally a rainy
A
day.
rainy day.
Um,
What? So, what colour
You
are
can-
they
you
before
can
they've
store
dried? Are they black when they've?
I can show you one. There's a beauty growing on a big old ash stump just over there.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
If
I
they're
want mine.
brown
It's about
when
this
they're
big.
on, then they're still kind of living. They
So-
need to be black.
Remember that smell of the burning King Alfred's cake earlier?
Yep.
That's what you're waiting for now. It's so distinctive, and that's basically indicating to me that the King Alfred's cake has caught. I can start blowing on this now. And the beauty of it is, the King Alfred's cake isn't a friable material, so it's not going to fall to pieces as soon as I start blowing on it. So I can take an ember and blow it to the size of the King Alfred's cake that you have.
It's important to know that you don't necessarily need a King Alfred's cake. It's good if you've
No.
got one, but you can just put the ember straight into the tin.
Put that in there. Chip off it.
Often refer to the fungus like these because you also get horse's hoof fungus and true tinder fungus do a similar thing as ember extenders.
So I've buried it in, fold the material round, work out where the wind's blowing from.
God's sake, I was trying to get the logo in. Keep spinning, quick.
At this point you normally hyperventilate. So you want the wind blowing over your back shoulder from behind, so it's taking the smoke away from you rather than you breathe in, take a great lungful of smoke.
Are you getting the spider on the back of his head as well? For the woodland look.
What you can do is just waft it through the air like that. That again,
Whoa.
There you go. It really worked.
Woo!
Well done.
Hey, amazing.
That was good.
That was awesome.
And then
invert it.
Jesus.
okay, we'll just set fire to the woods. So now you're at the stage, you know, where
Putting your ones, twos and threes on.
you're actually in a better position than you were in yesterday with your very small amount of birch bark. But you immediately now put your thin birch twigs on. One that way, one on the top, and then your smaller fuel wood. And Bob's your own.
Dry grass. You know, the smoke that would have come off that damp stuff would have just been horrendous, yellow, choking, horrible smoke.